Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
Something really interesting is happening in Wellington Road, Paekakariki, and I know that the neighbours have shown a lot of interest in this to the extent they've been invited in tomorrow. It's a building, and here is the man who's in charge of the project, and in fact he is the architect I'd like to make very welcome to the program, Darren Hunter. Good morning, Darren.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm fine, Darren, I'm absolutely fine. Well, you certainly have piqued the interest of Paekakariki with this quite revolutionary building that you've been involved in.
Yeah, it's been a build process over the last 9 months, and we've constantly had neighbours and locals asking about it and showing an interest.
Now, there's a number of very interesting things. Firstly, it's not exactly the ideal section that you're building on, is it?
No, it's probably well known within Paekakariki that it's a really difficult site that had been on the market for many years, and we purchased it about 5 years ago with the intention of building something quite interesting on it. Quite
interesting. Now, knowing you, I imagine that the 3 letters eco comes into this, that it's an eco-friendly and sensitive building.
Yeah, so predominantly the house is built out of materials that can all be recycled, and also there's obviously energy saving aspects to the house, such as solar panels and its in-ground sewage septic system. And predominantly the materials, if they were needed to be demolished, the building needed to be demolished, everything could pretty much be recycled or turned into something else.
Wow. This is interesting. This is really interesting indeed. So this makes it a pretty unique building along the Kapiti coast, I should imagine.
Yeah, it's, a lot of the buildings in Kapiti are built by group housing, and typically they have a formula that they work to, and they may or may not be that interested in, how the materials are recycled or have an afterlife, what they could be used for later. And given that Paekakariki has a community that are eco and sustainable, sort of inspired type folk, they've definitely shown an interest because of the aspects of the house that we're incorporating.
So this, at the very least, must be food for thought for other people getting involved in construction. You would think that eventually this is the way that we will have to go.
I think so. I think in our lifetime we need to change the way we live on this planet, and the house is not for everybody. It's a very unusual layout in that it's 3 stories, it's very narrow, but it's really just an opportunity to give people a chance to have a conversation about what they do and don't like, and the process of what we need to do going forward. So I'm hoping that people come along and have a look and ask questions. Become away a little bit more informed about the building process and what's actually available on the market.
Is the building process unusual? I mean, have you used any unusual techniques to achieve what you have?
Yeah, so most people will be familiar with a timber frame construction, and it's typically lined with chipboard on the inside. In our instance, we've built a house that's actually quite skeletal in that it's all built out of steel framing and portal steel framing, and that's all being left exposed. So every bolt, every weld, every washer can be seen from the inside. So we're not encapsulating the structure of the building in a building lining such as chipboard or cedar or weatherboard.
It sounds quite industrial. Is this eco-industrial, a new architectural movement?
Yeah, it's probably more of a move away from what people consider traditional eco. So the steel components can be completely recycled. There's obviously concrete in the building to hold the thing up, and that can all be recycled these days. So we're sort of trying to create a conversation around perhaps what people think an eco house could or couldn't be, and being true to the materials. Leave the concrete and the steel exposed. Yeah. A lot of glass, a lot of aluminium, and all those materials can be recycled these days.
So it's eco. Is it also economic? I mean, is this a cheap build or not?
Particular build, no.
No, okay.
Given the nature of the site, there's about a 6 to 7 metre difference in height over the length of the section. So we've had to build quite substantial retaining walls and foundations to support the house. The second 2 stories of the building could be built economically on a relatively flat site. However, the cost of developing this section was quite expensive.
Yes, indeed. Well, knowing the section, I can understand that. It does bring up the point, though, the big rallying cry in environmental circles is polluter pays. And I wonder if there's some way of costing in the entire cost of materials over their life cycle. So possibly the more eco-friendly materials would then become more economic.
Yeah, I agree with you. There needs to be an understanding that a material has a certain shelf life or maintenance life. In our instance, we've paid obviously more for the materials, and it does have a longer lifespan. The maintenance is very minimal, and it's really just moving away from those materials that people expect they're going to have to maintain. In this instance, you won't have to maintain much at all.
Indeed. And I imagine it would stand up pretty well in an earthquake, wouldn't it? It sounds quite strong to me.
Yeah, it's incredibly strong. It's heavily engineered, and that's purely because of the retaining walls and the need to retain the banks. And then we've deliberately made the structure of larger steel members so the materials look more substantial, so therefore inherently that's adding to the strength of the house in the event of an earthquake.
Indeed. Well, you've thought of a lot. Are you proud of this one, Darren?
I am. It's been 5 years in the making. We've owned this section quite a long time. It was a hell of a thing to get a resource consent through council. The site was sloping, we've got sand, as most people do in Kapiti, we've got sand to contend with. So because it's our own time and our own money, we've been able to do a few things that perhaps a client would be reluctant to do. So, again, it's an opportunity for people to have a look and say, okay, well, I do like that, or I don't like that. But it's just to get people to talk about, actually, why do we live the way we live, and why are the houses in New Zealand built the way they're built?
Indeed. Is this your own property? I mean, are you going to live in it?
No, we've decided we're going to sell it. We were going to build it as a rental, and from this house I've come up with a few more ideas that I'd like to pursue. So obviously to free up some capital, I need to get rid of this thing to be able to try a few other things. So so we're offering it on the market in the coming weeks.
Okay, well, look, I think it's a magnificent achievement. Congratulations on it. I'm dying to talk more about that comment you made. It was a hell of a thing to get resource consent through council. I've got a feeling there's a whole new conversation to be had in that space. But in the meantime, we will celebrate the achievement. And I understand there's going to be a blessing tomorrow of this new building.
Yeah, that's a part of us trying to be involved with the community. So 11 a.m. tomorrow, we're going to have the site blessed by the local iwi.
And that's going to be at Wellington Road, 69A Wellington Road in pulsating Paekakariki. Darren, thank you very much for joining us. Congratulations on your achievement.
Well, thanks very much.
Great stuff. There we are. Thank you. And Darren Hunter.
106.3 Beach FM.